Hey, Colin Kuhn here. Alright, so I'm going to introduce you to my new car. I ended up picking up a 2007 BMW 335xi. This car happens to be the 5th generation of the BMW 3 Series. The BMW 3 Series was originally introduced as the BMW E91 model. This happens to be the BMW E92, which is part of the E90 generation. The E92 was introduced in 2007. This happens to be the 335xi, which has all-wheel drive. This is before BMW introduced xDrive in 2009. The BMW 335xi has an N54 twin-turbo 3-liter inline-6 engine, producing 300 horsepower. At around 5,000 RPM, it has 295 foot-pound of torque. This BMW 335xi happens to have the Xenon package, the heated seats, which is the cold weather package, and the premium package, which also includes the Harman Kardon speakers. However, the unfortunate part of this car is it happens to be an automatic. I'm not typically a crazy automatic dude, and I do happen to have a BMW E28, which is a 5-speed manual. So I do live that manual life. Shout out to Chris. I have the dark camel seats inside this BMW along with really nice dark wood, which happens to flow very nice with the interior. BMW tends to keep a business class style when designing their interiors. The BMW E90 is a bit different than the other 3 Series cars. Previous BMW 3 Series cars before it were very driver oriented, with the center console being faced towards the driver. When the BMW E90 came out, they happened to put the center console in the center of the car, oriented towards everyone. It wasn't really oriented towards the driver. This happened to cause some issues with BMW purists. This car has Bluetooth and XM radio, along with regular AM/FM radio. The cool thing about this car is that in 2008, it had the Bluetooth package. This happened to be a pretty reasonably expensive feature back in the day. This BMW also happens to have the adaptive rear view mirror, which allows so when someone has their brights on behind you and they're riding your butt, basically it dampens the light for you and diffuses it. This also has the 3 buttons that allow you to program to 3 different garages. So basically you hit the button and it already is programmed to your garage and you can open up the garage door and blah blah blah. Alright, so you take the key fob, put in this little slot right here, push it in. It'll be in basic power mode. You put your foot on the brake, and click the start and stop button. It starts the engine. The instrument cluster has 4 gauges: miles per hour, gasoline, RPM, and oil temp. Now what I'm going to show you is how to pair your phone to Bluetooth. Basically click on your Bluetooth. It'll show up. It's already connected. That simple. Go to phone. Already paired to my Galaxy Note 4. I can make calls, check missed calls, check Bluetooth, I can even check my connection. Now looking here at the center console, there are several things that you want to keep in mind. This car has dual climate, so both passengers can have their own climate in each area. This car happens to also have auto recycling and heated seats, which is very important for when you live in Michigan, because one week it's 20 degrees, the next week it is 70. So it's a little weird. Now, for your average sized person, I'd say the seat space isn't that good. I'm pretty short, so this works pretty well for me. However, if you are taller, you may have an issue getting into this car. It is a coupe, so I recommend a 4-door 335i instead. I'm about 5'5", and the space isn't too bad in here. Getting in, pretty spacious. As a person who is 5'5", I have a pretty reasonable amount of room. The cool thing also is you also get excellent sound quality back here. There are 7 Harman Kardon speakers total in this car, and the cool thing is you get to experience 4 of them back here. Getting into this car, there's a reasonable amount of foot space. However, there isn't too much headroom. I'm kind of, as a 5'5" person, I kind of have to bang my head a little bit against here. But when you lean back, it's not too bad, and it's actually pretty comfortable in the back. The seats are in great condition. Letting a passenger in, there are these buttons right here. The nice thing is it allows you to slide back or slide forward, giving a person who may need more leg room a bit more space. All right, let's take it for a drive. Now, the 320xi is just the regular 215 horsepower inline 6. And that's actually the car that I wanted to buy. I bought the 335xi because I got a killer deal on this car. Overall, this is a very excellent car to drive. It's a great daily driver and can get you through the winter. I live in Michigan. I need an all-wheel drive car that I can enjoy all year round and has excellent amount of power. Downshifting. You can basically drive it like a manual. Now, it does have a dummy-proof mode where if you put the car in the wrong gear at the high enough RPM, it will shoot it back into a higher gear. So I'm in third right now. Let's say if I were to go to second right now at almost 3,000 RPMs while going almost 60 miles an hour, the car will fix it for you. Part of the issue I have with this car is there are headlight washers. Now, these motors inside the headlight washers can die, so they actually get stuck outside the car. Those are what those little square-shaped things on the bumper are. They come out and they spray your headlights and clean them for you, which is actually a nice feature, but when they're not working properly, they can be a nuisance, especially with a higher mileage BMW. Another issue I have is the cup holders in this car. They really don't fit many drinks. You know, maybe they can fit your Starbucks, they can fit whatever cup of coffee you need, maybe just a regular pop can, but they don't really fit water bottles very well, they don't fit large drinks. This car does also have automatic lights that do turn on when it gets dark out, and they also turn off during the daytime. It does always have daytime running lights, which are always on, however. This car also goes when you want it to. About 90 miles an hour. Now, when it comes to the seats are actually quite comfortable. On a long ride, they can be a little bit of a nuisance. However, when I've ridden with people in the past, they've told me that the seats are actually really quite comfortable and they're good for long rides. For me, you know, not so much in my opinion, but I'm more of a sporty driver, of course, so the seats actually don't hold me very well. I do not have the sport package, so the seats don't hold me as well as sport package seats would hold me. Another small issue I have with this car is the way that the front bumper was designed. This is the very first generation of the E92. They came out with the second generation around 2009. The E92 second generation actually ended up having a reformed bumper, and the bumper actually matches that of the BMW E60. The front bumper of the E92 first generation is actually a bit of a pain, where rocks can actually fly up into the mesh and break the mesh. Other than that, thank you guys for watching, and rate, comment, and subscribe, and special thanks to Scott Mixer for letting me use his GoPro.